Good morning, welcome. This is Mount Vernon Matters, and I am Jamie Pessin, and I'm so glad that you tuned in today. We are having one of our special City Council candidate interviews. Actually, let's upgrade it just a little bit. It's our City Council President interview. I do have City Council President Yuhanna Edwards in the building. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jamie, and thanks for having me on your show again.
Thank you for coming back, because he was here before and he returned.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you know Yuhanna Edwards, he cares about our city, and he's always willing to have a public discussion about it. And if you want to have a comment to him or a question, 914-636-0110. Oh, and Council President Edwards, I'm not going to be easy on you. I'm going to,
no problem.
Here we go, because you ran for mayor.
I did run for mayor.
So
yes.
You have some ideas.
Yes.
What are your ideas on the city and how it should be run over the next 2 years, or how you will participate in helping it progress?
You know, Jamie, I don't want to get into how the city should be run or
could
be run over the next 2 years.
Badly worded.
Yeah, but that's okay, because now I'm not in that position. I wanted to be in that position, but I kind of lost the flavor to want to be mayor because it's a lot of work.
Yes.
And you're more misunderstood when you become mayor than you are when you're running for mayor. But I think what the people need to do, the people know what they want and how they want the city to run. And what they must do is come out during this process. There's a primary taking place on September the 10th. Okay, now is the time to ask the right questions if you really care about this city. But this city has become so divided, and if there's anything I would want to do and I would want to see is to see the city come together. Okay, there's a Mount Vernon United, okay, which was supposed to encompass all associations and build more associations. I like that concept, and I think that's what should take place. Mount Vernon needs to come together. It has to stop being divided. The politics in Mount Vernon is such that if we continue with the politics going on as it is, we're going to drive ourselves right into the sea. And this is what I see. I tried to say at the forum on Saturday, which there was a major forum on Saturday, I tried to say, until I was cut off, that we are divided, and I've been working for the city for so long, and to see it more divided than it's ever been hurts me, okay? I'm not a politician to be a politician. I'm not in the politics to make myself look good. I'm in the politics to make the city look good. And if people get that understanding that it's about the city, it's about the people, especially about the children, okay, because they're the ones that are going to grow up in this city unless they're taken out by their parents, and more parents are taking their children away from the city because of the different things that are going on. So, you know, I envision this city to be a great city as it is, okay, but if you have the few, and it's the minority faction that's continuing to drive this city into the sea. And if it was the majority, I think I would understand that. But because it is a minority faction that wants to take over the city, that wants to control the city in the right way, okay? If you're not going to control the city and do the right things with the city, I want no parts of it. I am an independent person on the council, but we have to be a team, all right? And the council has not unified itself to be a team. I mentioned team concept to one person, and this person said to me, I don't want to be on a team. You cannot be a city council person with 5 members and not understand the dynamics of being on a team or the psychology behind collaboration and trying to get it done. If everybody's going different directions, it will never get done, and I see it going that way.
Well, just my comments on that. When you got elected, you joined a team because a whole team of people elected you. So, you know, you work for them, you work with them, and you work with the other people that they elected to hopefully reach a compromise that's beneficial for the city.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I thank you for that. But there are people that are running, Jamie, at this time that have no clue that what we are is a legislative body, okay? Legislation comes before us, and we either pass it unanimously, or we cut it apart to find out the best way for it to be passed. We may have to send it back to the mayor, may have to send it back to his commissioners and say, no, this is not right. Bring it back to us before we can pass it. We are not a body that can change Mount Vernon. I mean, we can change Mount Vernon along with the president administration. There's an executive body, there's a judicial body, and there's a legislative body. We don't have that much to do with the judicial body, but we have a lot to do and say to the administration. The mayor runs the day-to-day operations. We
Right.
are now in the city of New Rochelle. okay? New Rochelle has a different concept or different way of governing themselves, okay? You have a city manager that runs the day-to-day operation, and Mayor Branson is a person on that council. I believe he's the council president, okay, in this operation, that he talks with his council and they come to an agreement. You don't see them fighting in New Rochelle like they fight in Mount Vernon. That's why I've said for the last couple of years, Mount Vernon has to look at a different way of governing itself, because Mayor Davis should probably be the last strong mayor, okay? I believe in the way New Rochelle is run, but maybe it needs to be tweaked for Mount Vernon, which is fine. But let's tweak it and get the right way going forward. You can't come on this council and think you're going to change the world. When I came on this council, it was a little bit easier than it is now because I had statespeople that were on the council for many years running it. So I was there, I was learning, all right? And I learned to the point where they're all gone. Now I'm the one that's left.
Well, I hope you soaked it all up.
I soaked it all up, but now I got it. But it took me almost 7 years to get all of what it is, because running a city is not easy.
So, Councilman Edwards, I have this question for you, because I've gone to those meetings.
Yes.
And I've seen you vote, and I've seen other council members vote. But then we also have this unique thing that happens at meetings where we sign up, we get up, and we say what we're mad about. I don't care if it's a pothole, I don't care if it's your noisy neighbor, but we tell you about it.
Absolutely.
Now, is that the most constructive format in order to communicate it, or is there a better way for the people to just simply get their simple problem dealt with? Because as you said, you yay or you nay the mayor's proposals. So when somebody gets up and says, I have this problem that continues to happen, and that's not necessarily what the council does, should they continue to do that, or is there a better way to solve their problem?
Thank you for that question. Actually, the city council has the only forum that you can come to them every other week or every couple of weeks and bring the concerns to it. That's a good way, okay? But there's also a forum that the mayor has the second Monday of every month that's mandated by him to meet with his commissioners and the public, if the public would like to come in. Take some of those concerns to the mayor and his commissioners. Because they run the day-to-day operation, they have to understand who's actually doing it. But by coming to us, each council person has a committee. There's different committees. There's the Public Works Committee, there's Human Resource Committee, Public Safety, and Finance and Planning, okay? Which all the different departments come under each and every department, okay? And because of that, when it comes to us, it becomes public. Once it becomes public, whoever is the key person, the chair, there's a chair and a co-chair, all right? They should take it, all right, and then comb through it to see what the concerns are of the public and make sure that they do their job. We have been doing that. Some are doing a little bit more than others, all right? We don't have a legislative aid at this particular time. A legislative aid would make sure that we're crossing every T and dotting every I when our constituents come before us. But because we don't, we're kind of lackadaisical, not lackadaisical, wrong word, but we're just not doing it to the full.
Limited resources at the moment.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
So then that begs the question, is it worth investing in getting a legislative aid?
Oh, we are. We're working on that now. We're trying to work that out. We've been working with it for a while. We have it under the Human Resources Department, and also the city clerk, George Brown, to push it out there and get someone before us to move us ahead. But it is a good forum. It's a good forum to come to us. I think you've brought concerns to us because you've been before us many times.
Oh, and I have some more.
come on with it, But also, there's.
So let's take a break for the moment. I do hear the music. Mount Vernon Matters, 1460 AM, WVOX.com, and Yuhanna Edwards. We'll be back. Welcome back. This is Mount Vernon Matters. This is Jamie Pessin, and you are listening to 1460 AM, WVOX.com. I do have Council President Yuhanna Edwards in the building. Why is he in the building? Well, he always visits us. He's a good guy. But he also would like your vote. He would like you to get registered. He would like you to sign petitions. He would like you to vote. And bottom line, that just means get involved in deciding who's going to lead. And so, he's here to answer any of your questions, big, small, whatever the topic is, 914-636-0110. Council President Edwards, once again, welcome back.
Thank you.
And I do believe we were talking about the process in which people come to communicate issues when they go to the city council. And one of the big problems that I hear from the average citizen is they feel like City Hall does them favors when they do things for them. So what is the proper process for somebody to get something done with that in a low stress way?
The best way to do it is to write a letter, okay? And an even better way is to be a part of an association with Mount Vernon United is, and Neighbors That Care is,
and Fleetwood Association.
And Fleetwood Association, their associations. Send a letter behind with the letterhead from your association to show them or to show us that you are a body of many. You're not just one individual. A lot of people come off in an individual way. Okay, don't come off as an individual way if you care about your city. Don't come off, just disrespectful because the tree is in your yard and it's making a mess and you want to cut down. Come with a holistic approach to our city. You had mentioned when we were off air, Jamie, about it being transparent. We are very transparent. Everything is up before us, but there's only a few people that are out there that really care about their city as a whole, okay? When you come before us, it doesn't get lost. It's on tape, which we're getting a new system in place where you can make more sense out of it when you ask for a tape of the proceedings,
right.
Okay? That's being done as we speak. But people need to step up. I've always said since I've been on the council, if everybody just cared about their building, if everybody just cared about their block, okay, we'd have a better city. But if everybody just cared about the individual needs, and then it's not going to be a city, it's going to be an individual need, okay? So when people come up to me, I say, this will be taken care of. But going back to the committees again, all right, each council person and each co-council person is supposed to follow up. If they're not following up, then you come to the council president, okay? The council president is just a vote to make sure the vote is carried, all right? I can break a tie. All right, if I think it's right, that's what I'll do. But people just need to stand up and do more, Jamie. As I said, you've come before us. You weren't around when I first came on the council, but you are there all the time, not as much as you were, but you come up there with problems. But I also want people to come up with solution of that problem as they see it, and then we'll take it over.
Absolutely, and thank you, and I will continue to show up with problems and solutions. I think you should do this about it.
And we as a city appreciate you, Jamie.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well, and that's why I continue to go. But a lot of people, unfortunately, have the position that they don't appreciate what the city does, and that causes them to not vote, to not get involved, to not communicate, to not respect the city. And what would you say to the person in Mount Vernon who is a registered voter who says, I am not voting, I'm done with this, I'm just not going to vote, that's a waste of my time?
Jamie, I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I went overseas to get other people to be able to vote. If you're not voting now, people died for the right to vote, okay? If you come out and say, I'm not going to vote because I don't like this, I don't like that, you're wrong. And that means people died for you to do something that you have no respect for. All right. That means you don't respect me, and I'm a wounded, 90% disabled veteran that almost died for you to have the rights that you have. People have come here from all overseas. They take the responsibility of them coming from other places and appreciating what is here. And there's people that are here and have been here, do not care what the process is. That's why I said earlier, September 10th is a primary. Understand who are running. All right. I'm on a team. Marcus Griffith, Roberto Puzo. Marcus Griffith has been on the council before. Roberta has been on the council for 4 years. They understand the process and what's going on. If I have to deal with people, if I'm reelected, if I have to deal with people that are going to have to come on and learn, it's going to be a long, tedious process going forward. People came onto the council that almost have 2 years in, came on thinking that they know everything. You don't know everything. That's why I'm trying to get some stability in the position as council, all right? Just like the school board, no stability. If you have no stability, things constantly change. When we had stability in the school board, people said, no, you gotta go. I don't like your attitude. I don't like the way you talk to me. This is the way Mount Vernon people treat each other. I don't like the way you look. I don't like the way you talk. I don't like this. You can't continue to go on like that. So I say again, come out and find out what the issues are. Find out who is running, why they're running, and what they've done lately. That's another thing. What have you done lately to say that I'm ready to come on to the city council? Just because you're this or just because you're that doesn't mean that you can make a good council person going forward for the betterment of our city.
You know, and I'm going to have you talk about not yourself for a moment. Not yourself.
I hope I wasn't talking about myself.
No, right now. No, not just now, but here goes the question.
Okay.
Because you're the city council president.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What's the ideal city council person? We're not saying who. We're saying the person who gets elected. What is the ideal city council person? What would they be?
I think that person a person who has been involved. If they've only been involved in their block association or their neighborhood association, okay, or their church committees, all right, let's see your resume, how you volunteered, okay? This is a paid position that we have, all right? I would have done it for nothing, all right? But because they're paying, of course I'm going to take the paycheck.
Yeah, I've heard that.
All right, I would be, did you hear that before?
Yes, I
Yeah,
heard.
because I come from a volunteer background. Started the Mount Vernon Razorbacks with my wife and others, all right? Did that for 30-odd years, all right? I've been on my block association for 30-odd years, and I'm also, my resume is extensive. All those things I volunteered for. I did not know what my resume looked like. You say not to talk about myself, but I have to.
No,
I'm sorry.
That's good.
My resume is such that I've been doing all these things not for the purpose of getting elected,
Right.
but the purpose of doing for self and country, self and community, all right? If you haven't done that, then you haven't done anything. So don't come on the council thinking that you're going to change the world because now you think you can do it right. It's a part-time position, and it pays nicely. A lot of people are coming on for the money, and I can't say that factually, but I'm sure because I had some council persons that were on for the money, what they can do for their children and what they can do. Don't come on the council for that because it's a hard job. It's a full-time job. I've been retired since 2005, and I've been able to put that time into it, understanding that it's a full-time job.
Hey, Council President Yuhanna Edwards. You think when people come up to me in Mount Vernon, because there's a lot of people in bad positions, they ask me for money all the time. I should imagine you. They say, "Hey, I'm paying your salary. You could give me a handout."
And it's a shame because I just, like I said, I had given back $500 of my salary from the council years ago, but nobody knew about it.
So guess what? We are running out of time, but I do want you to have a moment to give.
You need an hour, Jamie.
We do. But tell us what you want the people to know about you and voting this time around.
Okay, I've been committed. Okay, I've always been committed to my city. I will remain committed if you want to elect me and my colleagues. But I ask you to do your due diligence by coming out, asking those right questions, track me down, ask me what I'm all about, but more importantly, ask those other people who are just coming on, who have been on for just a few years, ask them what they're all about going forward.
That's great. And Yuhanna Edwards and like I say about Mayor Davis and Yuhanna Edwards, these are people that are reachable. They're not going to get elected and disappear. They're there. They're in your face. They're ready for your questions. Give them some questions because they're there. They've done half of the work, which is they're standing there. You need to stand there and ask some questions too. This is Mount Vernon Matters. This is Jamie Pessin. Thank you. Next week we'll have the commissioner for the water board and we'll talk about water. Hey, so thank you for listening to Mount Vernon Matters on WVOX.com.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you.